yourself into your favorite characters. Who do you want to be today? This is DIY Cosplay Shop.
What's up, Internet? My name is Elizabeth Rage, and welcome to DIY Cosplay Shop. Today I have my extra special friend Rian Synnth with me. If you follow me on Instagram, you might know her as the Korra to my Asami, or sometimes the Asami to my Korra. We go both ways. Anyway, today is an extra special build. I have this awesome Hanzo bow that Vinny made last week, and we're gonna be doing a Hanzo cosplay, but we're going to gender bend it. Now guys, don't worry, this is still gonna be relevant to you. Actually, you're just gonna have all the knowledge of making a Hanzo costume plus. So let's talk about Hanzo. So he has a hairpin sash that's gold. We found a really pretty gold silk that we're gonna be making that out of. His top is dark gray and has applique on the sleeve. He has the armor glove and a obi or sash around his waist that has pouches on it and some gourd looking thing with beads that attach to that. And then he has these super puffy pants. And then he has these really awesome armored boots. So Ryan's made a bunch of garments like this shirt before, so she's gonna explain to you how we're gonna do it.
Alright, so basically we're gonna be doing a yukata today. A lot of the angles are gonna be squared off, so I laid it out all right here. So we're basically gonna make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. We have this back, which is like a bell shape, squared off kind of deal. We have the left sleeve, which is going to be shorter than the right sleeve just to accommodate for the applique that we're going to be using on this. We have the left panel and the right panel that are going to be crossing in the front. Once all the flashy pieces are on it, it's really going to come together.
Yeah. All right, so to start off, I'm going to take Ryan's measurements and then apply those to this pattern.
You're gonna wanna take the measurements along the shoulders, down the back, across the hips and waist, and down the arms.
So when you're making your own patterns, it's super important to keep trying on your garment to make sure that it fits every step of the way. Since we are super pressed for time, once again, Ryan's gonna show you how to make the pouches while I just pin this garment for sewing.
Alright, so basically what I did is I marked out a pattern to make Hanzo's 2 pouches that he wears on his belt. So basically, you're gonna take your X-Acto knife, take your pattern, lay it against the new craft foam, and then trace around. So now that we have the basic shape of the pouch cut out, we're gonna make the folds. So since we're gonna be doing this out of like thicker fabric, we wanna make sure that we allow space for the pouches to fold. So what I'm basically gonna do is along my pattern, we're just gonna cut about halfway through the foam so that it'll give a nice bend to it.
Sweet. So you're just scoring it with the X-Acto knife and then just giving, okay.
So that it can keep the fold.
Nice.
And so we have a pattern like so.
It's so pouchy.
Once the pattern is cut out of the craft foam, you'll want to trace it onto your fabric, leaving a little extra room for fold over. We're using a leather-looking non-stretch vinyl for this. And of course, you'll want to do this twice because there's 2 pouches. Now that your fabric pouch is all sewn together, you can take your craft foam pouch and just shove it inside. This will help keep the shape.
Key, that looks so good.
Okay.
So I went ahead and cut out the sash fabric. I'm actually using 2 different kinds of fabric because I really like how they look together. And we're gonna cheat the sash a little bit. Instead of making it one big long piece that we tie together every time, it's gonna be a belt section that will always stay perfectly taut and a knot that will sit on top of it. So now that I have this piece all sewn up on both sides, I'm just gonna reach my hand inside and turn it right side out. Maybe. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Whew! Magic.
2 more.
So once I have all of the sides sewn down, I went ahead and fit it around Ryan's waist, and then it's gonna look something like this. I gathered it on the ends and just did a running stitch right over each end to keep the folds. So now that this is the exact measurement of her waist, I'm gonna go ahead and take these parachute clips that I cut off a backpack and attach them to the inside of the sash. This will make sure that it always just closes super securely and the knot will go on top. It'll also be somewhat adjustable as well.
We went to the craft store and picked up some jewelry wire and some hollow out kind of flat looking beads that we're going to use to paint and use for Hanzo's belt that holds his gourd. Is that a gourd?
Looks like a gourd.
I think it's a gourd. Abacus, how do those work?
I have no idea how those work,
Yo.
actually. I am not smart enough for that stuff.
So I was able to find enough reference images through Blizzard to make this super rough mock-up on Photoshop of the Hanzo sleeve applique. We just printed it out on 8.5 by 11 paper and sized it up to 225%. That's just what we found worked best for the applique on Ryan's sleeve. After you have this all printed and cut out, you're gonna wanna make a couple of these for each layer. You're gonna want one for the clouds, for the lightning, and maybe a few more, and then transfer that onto your fabric and start layering it one at a time.
So while Elizabeth works on the applique, I'm gonna go ahead and add the magnets to our pouches to keep them shut. We're gonna use these circle magnets that we got at the hardware store and attach them with the super glue that we got at the craft store and keep these bad boys shut. So here's the foam accents that we have for Hanzo's pouches. We're going to plastic dip them and then paint them gold. So we're gonna move on to Hanzo's gourd now. We're gonna take a big styrofoam ball and a slightly smaller styrofoam ball and put them together to get that figure-8 type of gourd shape. You may notice that they don't fit quite right. So what we're gonna do is Dremel down the bottom half or bottom like quarter of the styrofoam ball so that it fits a little more flush like a snowman.
Ryan's heating up some thermoplastic to cover the styrofoam balls. This will help hold the balls together and give it one cohesive look.
So what we went ahead and did was took the Warbler on the spheres and just smoothed it out with a hot knife. Next, we're gonna be doing some sanding. We're gonna go ahead and start with 220 sandpaper and work our way up to 400 just so that the balls are completely smooth.
You want your balls to be really smooth.
Yeah, we do. So now that our spheres are completely sanded down, we're ready to throw some Mod Podge on. So we're just gonna brush on about 20 layers just so it's completely ready for the metallic paint. So we're gonna be working on the bracer next. I went ahead and cut out my pattern. We're gonna be using 2 pieces of craft foam, thin craft foam and thick craft foam. We're going to use the bottom, which is gonna be the thin one, and then we're gonna do the detailing on top with the thick craft foam. And then we're gonna glue those pieces together and sandwich them in Warbler. So what I went ahead and did was cut out our foam pieces from our paper template. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take our Dremel and we're just gonna bevel all of the sides. And that means we're just gonna taper down all of the corners so that it looks more accurate to his bracer. And then when we're ready, we're gonna go ahead and sandwich it in Warbler and it's ready to paint. We went online and found an extra glove, and you could probably find these at thrift stores, Goodwills, anything like that, because what we did was just cut off the last 2 fingers. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna hide this underlining right here, and then we're gonna layer our armor right on top. This just needs to be Mod Podge, primed and painted, and then we're good to go.
Okay, so I have finally got all of these applique pieces cut out and positioned where they go. So now I have to take them all off and sew them on again, one by one. This cosplay is rated H for Hanzo and hard, and holy hell, why am I still cutting fabric and there's 2 more appliques to do after this? Anyway, this is really pretty simple after this point. It's just gonna take some time. You're gonna take a very, very tight zigzag stitch and go all the way around all of this. I've also marked out in pencil where the other embroidery swirlies are on the clouds. This is gonna look really awesome when it's done. I just wish I could snap my fingers when it was done. I am now moving on to the bottom applique pieces. These are a lot simpler than the shoulder applique. And again, I just blew up a picture of Hanzo and threw it into Photoshop and then sized it to the size that I wanted, and now I'll make my patterns off of this. We are making a pattern for the boots. We have these awesome pair of boots that we got online, and now we are going to turn them into armor. But first, we're going to make a pattern for those armor pieces. So we are going to wrap the boot in plastic so it's easy to take off after. And then take some tape. You can use any kind of tape. Right now we're just using masking tape to cover the entire thing so that you can then draw on it. Because the rest you... So now we have this mock-up of her leg, and we will use this to make our pattern for our foam. We're gonna be using sticky back foam just to make it easy to pattern onto the boot itself. Oh, this one's so pretty.
Yeah. I traced out all of our patterns onto 2mm craft foam, the one that has the adhesive back. I labeled them number 10 through 1 being the top of the boot and 10 being the bottom of the boot. We went ahead and taped it back onto the boot just so we can trim up the edges that don't quite meet as well as they were doing it before.
Yeah, because when you transfer things from tape to three-dimensional foam, it gets the sizing gets a little weird, so it's always good to put it on as many times as you can just to get everything perfect.
I'm gonna go ahead and do the left one in white, and I'm gonna opt to use black for the other leg, just so I don't confuse the pattern pieces from the left and the right. It's just gonna make my life easier.
So the applique is finally done. The last thing there is to do is just stitch around the edges with a black, tight, thick zigzag stitch, and yeah, and then sew it up the sides and it's ready to go. The arm piece is now done-ish. It still needs to be distressed, but it is now on here completely, and it kind of looks like it is embroidered on there, kind of, hopefully. I'm really happy with how it turned out. We still have to add the knot and sash for the obi, but and line this thing completely. But at first thing we're gonna do is figure out where the F this stuff goes.
Now I'm gonna make the pants. We got super lucky and found this fabric that looks almost exactly like it looks in the games. It's a little bit smaller, but it's totally gonna work for this build. I just used a pair of poofy sweatpants as the pattern. You can make them full length or cut them off just below the knee and add elastic to keep them on. You're shoving them in your boots anyway, so the bottom really doesn't matter.
So now that our little generic silver droid looking guy, our gourd shaped, is cut out, we went ahead and printed out the dueling dragon type situation that's going on the front. And what I'm gonna do is tape around the outside and then with an X-Acto knife, trace the hard lines around the dragons so that it traces through to the other side, and then I'm gonna fill it in with gold paint.
Alrighty, so we are here. It is Friday of BlizzCon. We have not slept in like 3 days. We just finished this awesome booby wrap. Thumbs up for booby wraps. They're in there nice and tight, not going anywhere soon. And now the last thing we have to do is to apply the tattoo. And we printed out the image from the internet of the tattoo and sized it to just about her measurements. We're gonna apply this just like you apply any normal temporary tattoo, with water and time and patience. So the first thing you're gonna wanna do is cut out this paper about 1 centimeter around the entire design. This way it fits better onto her body.
Rian made the knee armor in a very similar way to how she made the arm bracer. Just cut out the shapes of foam and bevel them with your Dremel until you get the shape what you want, then prime it and paint it. She also used magnets in order to secure them onto the boots. This way she had full movement in her knees. And one of the final steps on the robe is to add the lacing accent, and I'm just doing that with a big old needle and some yarn from the craft store.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We're having a blast here at BlizzCon. Make sure you go and check out Rian Synnth on Instagram. She's super cool. Keep up with all her goodies. So also, Vinny made this really awesome bow for us. You can check out that tutorial. It came out last week. Totally completed our look. And I'm jealous now because I really want to do an Overwatch cosplay. So
McCree?
yeah, let's do McCree. And until next time, my name's Elizabeth Rage.
And I'm Rian Synnth.
And now you can cosplay. See ya. Hashtag booby wrap.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe, and all that good stuff. Also, check out our friend the Hacksmith. We've got a fun collaboration brewing, but in the meantime, he has some amazing videos that he's been working on. So go out and give him some love. See you next time.